Hickok 45 here. Welcome to the Hickok 45 Talks channel. Still on the front porch. Yeah, or maybe it's the first time you've seen me on the front porch. So, sitting here as it drizzles rain a little bit, thought I'd talk to you about a few topics, trying to keep them shorter if that's possible for me. I've talked about this before, I know. I'm beating a dead horse, maybe, and I'm sorry, Mr. Horse, but you're dead. You don't feel it, right? Uh, and as you see, am I just envious? Well, I'm kind of addressing that issue. Is a person just envious, or are they not? When they give people a difficult time about the firearm they have, maybe it's something that the commenter cannot afford, and it looks like they're just being envious. Maybe they're not, depending on what they say. We don't know anybody who leaves comments. It just comes up a lot because we keep posting these stupid videos with $500 this versus $1,000 that, and other people do similar things, I guess, cheap versus expensive or whatever. And so it gives everybody a forum to in some cases, I think, reveal the envy, reveal the jealousy. It does, and that's not many, but it pops out, doesn't it? I had a comment what brought this to mind again, yet again. I saw this comment, I copied it down. This guy says, I think this was probably on the AR-15, whatever it was, $800 one versus $2,000 one that we posted all of that long ago. Depending on when you're seeing this, he wrote, it's the usual story. If you buy a lower cost AR than me, you wasted your money on a POS. If you buy a higher cost AR than me, you wasted your money on an overpriced boutique firearm. If you bought exactly the same AR as me, you are brilliant. That was his comment, and I thought that really that says a lot, doesn't it? Yeah, we all can applaud this fellow, except for his grammar. You buy a higher AR than higher cost AR than I buy, right? No, we don't do that. I might have said it the same way. But anyway, it does come down. I tell you, when I talk about this, I have talked about it, I know, in a couple of Sunday videos, maybe through the years or whatever. It's partly as a cautionary to people that don't realize that they are sounding envious, and they may not be. So that is kind of my caution. Be careful when you post things like that about how that gun is you're just buying the name, you're just paying for the brand and all that kind of thing. Because I think for people with a little bit of sophistication that understand that brands do mean something and there's a reason something has a name, whether it's, again, Mercedes or GMC or Mustang or Kia or whatever, or Colt or High Point or Smith & Wesson, names do mean something. They mean a whole lot. They reflect the quality to some extent, right, in a brand. Doesn't mean everything within that brand is going to be quality or everything's going to be junk or whatever, but it does mean something. It means a great deal in price and in what you get for your money. As I've said many times, you may not get enough for your money. You take two brands where one is, everybody knows it's more expensive, it's a little higher quality, or maybe a lot higher quality. Everybody knows that this brand B is more expensive and that it is higher quality than brand A. Everybody knows that. Uh, but but then also we need room for doubt about brand B. It is higher quality, it's more expensive, but it's still maybe not worth to most people what it costs. Yeah, you got all of that, don't you? But anyway, it's hard to discern that what it is. Whether it's just someone, oh, just trying to rationalize what they bought and what they can afford, which is kind of sad to me. That I've been all over the ballpark when it comes to income. Really low average, low, average, medium income, high income. I've been all over the ballpark. So I've lived the life of every income, whatever you make, whatever your monthly income is or your yearly income is. Forget about inflation and all that, but just in real dollars, real income. Uh, I've probably been there. I have probably been there, am there now, or was there 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 30 years. I have been where you are. Okay, I guarantee you. I guarantee you for a period of time. Yeah. And so I can relate to all this. And but the one thing that I don't know, maybe it's self-conscious. I would just never, my entire life, I think my entire life, I've been reluctant to I will give anybody a hard time or badmouth some expensive product too much. Okay, there's a Mercedes. Like I've never been able to afford a Mercedes. I guess I could now, but I've never. But I've never made fun of or BMWs. That's a classic, or the joke about the how do you let's see what's the joke we've all probably heard about how do you know a BMW, something about the prick behind the wheel. I forget what the joke is, but it's one of those, where anybody drives a BMW, yeah, they're whatever. Um, I've always, I felt creepy if I started thinking of, or laughing at a joke like that, or making fun of somebody for driving a Mercedes, or acting like there's something wrong with them, or they're different from me, and they don't know what the world's about, or they're stupid for paying so much for it, for just a car to get from here and there. I've never been comfortable. I don't know, taking sides in those. And I consider that a compliment. Yeah, I am patting myself on the back for that because even before I thought about it, thought it through, and before I've been at all these different income levels or anything, I just never felt comfortable about making fun of somebody because they live in a mansion or they live in a shack or whatever. Because it's just, I might be there in that shack one day. Maybe I'll be in that mansion one day if I want. I mean, that's just circumstances. There's different, and then also careers that people choose. That makes a big difference. I didn't do the work in school to make good enough grades to go into medical school, even if I had wanted to, probably. You know. So I'm not going to make fun of somebody that is a doctor and makes a lot of money or something, a plastic surgeon. I'm just not going to downgrade that. That's just the way. Anyway, I'm getting off topic, but anyway, that's what it kind of sounds like if we're not careful. It really does. Even when we're making a legitimate comment. Now, most people, you can tell the difference, I think, can't you? You can tell the difference. There are people, for example, they really know ARs. I've seen some really intelligent, informative comments on that video and others like that about, well, if you get a high quality barrel and a trigger and a BCM, a bulk carrier group that is high quality, you're good. You probably need to spend, I don't know, $800, $1,000 to get that, or $1,200 or something, and then the rest of it is, you may have X amount, and you just tell people that just know the difference, where the quality matters and all that sort of thing. But it's really easy to just not only be envious, but to reveal it in the biggest way, and it's just interesting. It's an interesting aspect of human nature. It really is. And another thing I've always pointed out is how for person A and person B, person A say has I don't know what, say they got a $4,000 AR-15. Is there such a thing? Yeah, I guess there's several. Could be that much, right? They've got a $4,000 AR, and person B has a $600 AR-15. Well, for one thing that we all need to remember, don't we? The $4,000 AR-15 for person A might have been less expensive might have cost him less than the $600 AR for person B. Might have cost him less, actually, really cost him less. Because you know what the word cost means. Well, person A has such income that AR, I should have done some math before I thought about that, but maybe it's a half of a percent of his monthly income. Okay. Well, no, let's make it easier. Let's say, okay, so he's got $4,000 AR. Say his monthly income is, I don't know, 16 or yeah, say $16,000. This guy might make $16,000 a month. Okay, so what's that going to be? A couple hundred thousand a year or more. So he may have 20,000 a month. Okay, so he makes 20,000 a month. He bought a $4,000 AR-15. And then the person with the $600 AR-15, I don't know, maybe makes 4,000 a month. So I didn't do the math on that, but you know, so you got either a similar cost or you got a lower cost on the expensive model, and that's not, and that is pretty common, that kind of thing. So we're making fun of somebody. We'll see 4 times 6, because so I guess that math ain't working. But you know what I'm getting at. How much a person makes is a major factor in what that cost is. You know, a Mercedes, for example, may not cost someone very much at all. They make $500,000, $1 million a year, $2 million a year. That car just doesn't cost them much, you know. Whereas I think it's really easy, because again, I've been everywhere income-wise. It's really easy to look at somebody driving a new Mercedes, one of the expensive ones. I know they make some, you know, Mercedes now that, you know, I could have bought one, paid less than for my current cars, but say one of their expensive models, and it's really easy to look at, wow, a guy showing off, you know, driving a Mercedes, thinks he's big. They probably don't think that at all. It's just again, it may be a smaller portion of that person's income than your Chevy truck is of yours or mine. You know, they don't think that way at all. Maybe they grew up with nice cars and vehicles. Maybe their parents were fairly wealthy too, or whatever. But you know, they're not doing it to show off. It's just that's kind of their frame of reference. Just like your frame of reference might be to when you're buying an AR-15, you look for something in the $1,000, $1,200 range. You know you can get a good one. You probably get a BCM or something, you know, in that range. It's going to be a really nice AR-15, but you're not going to spend $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000, right? Whereas someone's looking at you, you know, well, that guy thinks he's big. He's buying a BCM. Bravo company manufacturing. He's buying, you know, which is, you know, not cheap, but not the most expensive, right? Well made. But there's someone looking at you, very likely, that has a $500 or $600 AR-15. That's all they could afford, and so you're the snob. You snob, right? So anyway, I don't know if this was really about AR-15s, but it was. It's just an interesting phenomenon, human phenomenon. And it comes up a lot on forums and YouTube videos and everything. So I don't know. I guess there's a kind of a moral to the story. It's not just about AR-15s, right? It is try not to be envious of people. As I've said many times, there's really only one person that I'm envious of, and I'll be honest. That's I have experienced envy throughout my life. In being envious of one human being that I can think of, and that's Hugh Hefner. Yeah, okay, so I'm guilty as charged. So I'll let you go on that one. Did I talk too long? I did. That's all I got to say, though. Life is good.